Well, it's Thursday afternoon, and some of us are wrapping up the course TE 848. So I'm going to put some concluding remarks in hopes that you'll find your way here. First off, if we look at our course objectives and kind of reflect on where we're going to take our learning from here, you can kind of self-assess and see which of these you have a deeper understanding of and which you might continue to ponder, by no means next week, but perhaps in a continuing math course that you dapple with, or some of you will be engaged in an action research project, and perhaps the course objective number 3, interpreting the current research. We looked specifically at math assessment, but thinking about how that looks in your own classroom. Those of you that were working on the choice assignment and looked at that action research plan with the conceptual learning of students versus those who were taught procedurally without the understanding, and those assessment results might have kind of a protocol for action research in your own classroom. So I see that on number 7 with the teaching fraction concepts. I had more planned for module 4, and that just isn't possible with our short week for module 4. But depending on what you did for your choice activities, you might be able to think about how some of the interventions we looked at for the whole number concepts would influence or be consistent with strategies for teaching fractions. That kind of leads me to the next item down here with the required text. While choice is such a powerful motivator, and you had the choice of renting or purchasing the book, if you have the option now of keeping the book, there are chapters toward the end that deal with specific content that is relevant for grades 3, 4, 5. And for those of you that have your teaching assignment in those grades, I hope that you find meaning in just hanging on to this textbook. If you looked at my announcement during week 2 of the course, where the announcement talked about the top 10 ways that practicing teachers can hone in on some of their teaching skills, the recommended reading for math, there were only 3 items, and one of these was a textbook, or yeah, it actually was textbook reading from John Van de Wall. So really a leading researcher in the area of mathematics, and many of you I know are not interested in these grades 3 through 5. However, you could perhaps trade in your book for the PK2 version. It's got the same title, the same author, just a different grade band. And then you see maybe now that as we revisit the syllabus, the NCTM membership, and there is a discounted rate for those of you that are enrolled as full-time students. From there, what you're looking at in the syllabus should look like the grade center. We'll have 100 total points, and I'll be switching that over to a letter grade. The bottom of the syllabus, you see the cut scores for the difference between perhaps like an A minus and a B plus, or an A plus and an A. So you can take a look at how that scale changes. These were the assignments. I'll remind you that even if an assignment is past due, because it's a graduate level course, all assignments need to be attempted by the time the class ends. So you want to check the grade center to make sure there's not just a missing grade. If there should be an exclamation point in there, with the exception of down here with the end of module ahas, because I put that grade in. Just make sure that you get the module 4 one recorded, and then I'll be entering those last 4 points. I do leave the Blackboard site open, so of course, with your permission, since you did the intervention resource walkthroughs and kind of sold some of the different sites, we had a few that were not um, showcased, but that doesn't mean that people didn't invest time in those. Um, I would like to believe that you're going to need some time off here to put your feet up and relax, but as the fall semester rolls around and you do some planning, that you might want to get back into Blackboard, and maybe you don't have time right now to bookmark things. So you'll be able to get back onto Blackboard, usually through October. That'll be accessible to you to maybe bookmark some of the things that you'd like to try out. It was just a really nice composition of students in the class this semester. We had uh, within Nebraska and outstate Nebraska, Sarah. We had a range of backgrounds from fairly new teachers to those that were more experienced, and in a variety of professional settings. For those of you that are near Nebraska, I have a little advertisement here. The Nebraska Association of Teachers of Mathematics holds an annual conference. It'll be Friday, September 9th here in Kearney, Nebraska. That would give me an opportunity to meet the 8 of you that I don't already know. I've had 3 of you in class as undergraduate students, so it was my privilege to get to have the opportunity to work with you in a graduate setting. But let's take a look at the keynote that's going to be here. Dan Meyer, a little bit about his credentials. He's a chief academic officer for a company called Desmos, and his quote, "Math is power, not punishment." He has had over 2 million views on his TED.com video. I'll link this up to the Blackboard announcement area. That way you'll have a hot link and you can view his inspirational talk. I think that the message is consistent with some of the learning from TE 848. And in addition to the keynote at the Friday conference, there are breakout sessions that should appeal to your particular professional setting. So signing out for now, this ended up being just a little bit longer than what I intended. But I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th and even better July, and don't hesitate to seek me out if you have a question or looking for a specific resource, or whenever you're in Kearney. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you face to face, I would love to have that opportunity. Good luck, everyone.